Hello and welcome to Kashmir University Video Digest Quest. I'm your host Umar Malik, and in today's episode we have NCW Chairperson interacts with internal committee members. First meeting of Working Group on Climate Change held. Swachh Bharat Drive commences in interiors of Dal Lake. And 2-week refresher course on social science concludes. Now the details of these events. Chairperson of National Commission for Women, Ms. Rekha Sharma, held an interaction with internal committees of the University of Kashmir and its affiliated colleges to know what steps they are taking to prevent sexual harassment of students, scholars and women staff. Interacting with internal committee members, Chairperson NCW Ms. Rekha advised all members that they should ensure that everyone in the university and its affiliated colleges must know what internal committees are, its functioning and help that it provides. Adding, one should organize workshops to inform faculty and students about reporting harassment.
First thing is that people of the organization, whichever organization, we are sitting in a university, the university students, faculty members, everybody should know what is IC, where is IC, where they can approach, the number of chairpersons and the members. It should be on the notice board, it should be on your website, everywhere. And then you should conduct some workshops like we are conducting today. You at local level, at your college level, should have workshop not only with the faculty members, with the students also. Because here the students also are the part of this. Because whatever harassment they face, whether a student harassing another student or a faculty member is harassing another student, it comes under the IC. So you must have these workshops.
She cautioned internal committee members not to come under pressure when a senior faculty member is accused of sexual harassment.
I have seen, especially in the university, the research segments jo university ka hota hai, from there we get lot of complaints. Because somewhere they are working closely and that thin line between the friendship and this harassment, sometimes they cross that line and without knowing also and with all the knowledge. So these kinds of cases comes to us, especially if I give example from one in Allahabad University, where I am sorry to say, but VC was part of it, the whole thing, and I myself went and did inquiry, and after that he was changed also. He was thrown out of the university. So sometime it is against a senior person, and that time the role of IC is very important because so much pressure comes on them from every part if a senior person is involved. So how you can work in that pressure? Then if you are a member, I think that is your duty, that you should not take any pressure and you should work what you are there for.
Chairperson Internal Committee at the University of Kashmir, Professor Nilofer Khan, informed the head of NCW that the university is sensitive towards any gender-related complaints and takes immediate action whenever any complaint is brought into its notice.
University of Kashmir has a well-placed ICC with its dedicated members as legal experts, social work specialists, gender studies specialists, security specialists, NGOs, scholars, hostel boarders, and is very active on the campus. However, about University of Kashmir, with full confidence and experience, and also my observation as senior professor of the university who has spent more than 35 years in this campus, that we have very congenial atmosphere for students, teachers and non-teaching staff on the campus. We have a very vibrant proctorial and security wing in the campus under Chief Proctor who looks after the security issues. I put it on record that our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Talat Ahmed, is very sensitive in putting in place and solving the issues of females, whether students or staff.
Commenting on the talk of NCAA chairperson, Vice Chancellor Professor Talat Ahmed said that the University of Kashmir has a robust internal committees to tackle any sexual harassment complaint.
I have seen that during all my stay here, very few rare cases, okay? But that doesn't mean that really it is rare, because we do not know how many people really come out, okay? So that is there. But as I understand, the importance of IC is very important for the university and for the colleges, that women are equal and they have all the rights to be equal in terms of academics, in terms of decision making, in terms of administration and everything. The message has to be very clear that the women are very important part of the society, and they need to be respected and given full power whatever is required.
Dean and Head School of Law Professor Muhammad Ayub said that a few policies need to be remodified in such a way so that there is no scope for any sexual harassment.
A triangular objective which has to be achieved, and it's not to be achieved only by the internal committee but the institution as well, that its policies have to be modified in such a way that there's no scope for any kind of sexual harassment at the institutional level.
Later, members put forward many questions and suggestions before the National Commission for Women. The first meeting of Working Group on Climate Change, constituted by Varsity to address concerns, challenges and remedies related to it, was held with Vice Chancellor Professor Talat Ahmed chairing it. Academic, government officials and members of civil society are part of this working group on climate change. In his presidential address, Professor Talat Ahmed expressed hope that this working group will address issues relating to climate change.
Not only science-based working group, it has people from all the different parts of life, be it from sociology or social work and women studies and geography and everything. So the thing is, the climate change is happening, which everybody understands. How much we understand about this? We know that there is climate change, but how much do we really understand, and what it is going to impact in future? Because many times people misunderstand between climate and weather. You can have weather which will change maybe every day or every week, but climate is not going to do that. And we cannot predict also, आज गर्मी हो गई साहब climate change की वजह से हो गई, ज़्यादा बर्फ आ गई तब भी climate change की वजह से हो गई, ऐसा नहीं होता है. So we have to have a long-term database, long-term information. Fortunately for Kashmir, we have good record.
Dean Research Professor Shakil Ahmed Ramshu, whose brainchild it was to form various working groups in order to mitigate problems that society faces, said, "We have to look ahead and design our ways, keeping in view the data we have collected over the years."
What will be the climate like, by end of this century? Climate projections have a lot of uncertainties, and we have come about with different scenarios of what it will be. And cryosphere, glacier, snow and glacier, I will give you an idea, its status and how it has been changing, and also what are the implications of it on the water supply, on the irrigation, on the horticulture and agriculture. Land system changes that are, they are mostly economical driven here, but there are some signals of the climate. Globes we saw, everybody is talking about globes, and we have 12,000 glaciers in Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh, 12,000. And we have many globes. How vulnerable are we globes? And we have the hydropower projects here already in place and many more in the pipeline. So what it means to us in terms of safety of our life and property. And also shrinking water bodies, we know Wular, or we see many others, Wular is the largest flood basin the nature has put. For me, the purpose the nature has put is only to absorb the flood waters of Kashmir. And what it has been now, how it has shrunk from 100 years up to now.
Professor Muhammad Sultan Butt of the Department of Geography and Disaster Management said that Kashmir is not immune to climate change and extreme events in weather are witness to it.
In fact, the quantum of the rainfall has not changed over the period of time, but it is the variability and the seasonality that has changed so far as the rainfall is concerned. And one more important aspect is that we are experiencing that the number of rainy days is also decreasing, though it is by small just magnitude, but it is decreasing. And then another important aspect is this phenomenon of climate change and the global warming is associated with the extreme events. That is basically the cause of the concern which we are confronted with. Extreme events with regard to the changing temperatures, which induces the very dynamic so far as the hydrological regime or the water balance or the hydrological cycle of the region is concerned.
Chief Engineer of Irrigation and Flood Control, Mr. Iftikhar Ahmed Kakru, suggested that there should be clarity on the roadmap that this working group has been constituted.
There has to be the linkage between the various elements, and what is coming from where. We have to be clear about that. 3 is what is the role of the working group. Absolute clarity on that, because generally what happens is that whenever groups are constituted or committees are constituted, they do not have absolute clarity as to what is their mandate, what is their role. So I would request Shakil Saab, because you are coordinating this with directions from the Honorable Chair, that the working group should have clear-cut roadmap as to what are its roles and responsibilities. You have given us a brief overview of the terms of reference, but I think they need to be further broken down into action points, so that whatever is the outcome of the discussions that we have during the various meetings that we'll have in the working group are fruitful and meaningful.
Director, Center for Career Planning and Counseling, Professor Mohammad Shafi, said that one should try to develop climate financing.
We should have a mandate, each one of us. So let us assume a mandate of creating, from our side, say for example, a climate finance cell here. So that we could come up with some mechanism where to approach for the finances. As he was saying that there is a lot of projects are now there available. As you said, National Research Foundation, they have 50,000 crores, a lot of it goes into it. But there may be other sources which we can bank upon. So that's my point here, that we should basically try to get more and more financing, because climate finance is a major area that what we are looking at, how to finance both parts, adaptation as well as mitigation finance. So that way, we could develop.
Saying that understanding climate change from the point of view of gender is important, Director, Institute of Home Science, Professor Nilofer Khan, said that women can play a major role in mitigating climate change.
Gender and climate change are, very closely related. In different, actions or in different situations, women have played a role, and they have played a very good role. I feel here also, small things or small, works, they can help. What comes in my mind is, for example, 3 things are very important related to gender. That's research, extension, and awareness. When I talk of research, I mean small studies on women right at the grassroots level, how they can participate, how we can make them aware at grassroots level in their mohallas, and how they can influence other women, how they can influence their children.
Department of Social Works Assistant Professor Dr. Shazia explained why the topic of gender is important in understanding climate change.
Very less proportion of women own resources. When you talk about their access, when you talk about their mobility, we see negative indicators there, and it impacts the climate change and have an impact on them. For example, one thing which comes to my mind is that when water resources deplete, many of the girl child have to drop out from the school. because they have to go to far off the distances to collect the water. And when it comes to who will bring the water, of course, if you have a son and a girl, so automatically the girl has to reduce her school hours. So that is something wherein we can have lot of micro studies done involving lot of PLA, PRA activities, using chapati diagrams, seasonality diagrams, knowing about what kind of vulnerabilities the grassroots women are doing. Second is, which is very important, that when I talk about climate change, it of course impacts the poverty, but I think that environment is something which we have not touched the way it should have been.
Director Indian Meteorological Department, Srinagar, Mr. Sanam Lotus also spoke on the occasion.
We have increased our network of weather observation system, whether it is Doppler weather, automatic weather station, automatic rain gauges, manual observatory also. So we have long, like Professor Ramshu on the onset said, we have long history of actual data. These data will be very helpful for validation of the models, because whether models have a lot of uncertainty, which model fits our region. The ground validation from our information will be very important to choose which model fits our region.
A few environmental activists also spoke on the topic of climate change. Vice Chancellor Professor Talat Ahmed, Registrar Dr. Nisar Ahmed Mir, along with Department of Students' Welfare, took a detailed tour of the interiors of Dal Lake, falling along its Hazratul banks as a part of 3-day awareness campaign under Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. During the awareness drive, Dean Students' Welfare distributed health and hygiene products among the needy, while officials and student volunteers impressed upon the local population importance of maintaining their surroundings clean.
Sanitizer. So how do you sanitizer kyago? Time to atkarin sab.
Doctor from face ko to shasa man ke skin lekin sar mein khatam ke dar acha. Tam ko chuna bhi ta dai hat ano yim sutra bottle tim how study paana ye to se na ya sanitizer ya saban.
Expressing his happiness that volunteers from the university have taken this initiative, Professor Talat said that it is the duty of the people and public institutions to keep our environment clean for the betterment of humankind.
University already is की तरफ research कर रही है और हम देख रहे हैं कि इसे किस तरह से हम बेहतर से बेहतर एटलीस्ट आगे ख़राब ना हो उसके लिए काम करें, पर साथ में क्वालिटी ऑफ वाटर वो बेहतर हो और उसके लिए हम सबको मिल के करना चाहिए। मुझे बड़ी खुशी है कि हमारे यूनिवर्सिटी के स्टूडेंट्स और टीचर्स सब और जो कर्मचारी जो हैं वो सब मिल कर के इस अभियान में अपना शिरकत कर रहे हैं और कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि लोगों को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा अवेयरनेस भी हो। सिर्फ यूनिवर्सिटी से नहीं होगा, ये लोगों को करना होगा कि उनको समझ में आए कि डल लेक की क्या इम्पोर्टेंस है और आगे अगर इसे हमें बचाना है तो हमें क्या-क्या चीजें नहीं करनी चाहिए।
Registrar Dr. Nisar Ahmed Mir congratulated Dean Students' Welfare for organizing such public awareness programs.
भाई नस्ब ईमान है, तो चाहे वो सरफेस पर हो चाहे वो वाटर बॉडीज़ में हो, तो जो हमारे वाटर बॉडीज़ डल है ये बड़ा इम्पॉर्टेंट है। नेशनल लेवल एंड इंटरनेशनल लेवल पर ये बड़ा अहम हमारे टूरिज़्म के हिसाब से, हमारी इकानमी के हिसाब से, तो उसको जितनी भी सफाई हो वो हमारे लिए बेहतर है, हमारी इकानमी के लिए बेहतर है और हमारे टूरिस्टी के लिए बेहतर है। तो आज जो ये हमारे रईस साहब और उसका टीम जो ये कर रहे हैं आज का इवेंट, तो इस लिहाज से जो हम 2-3 चीज़ें उन्होंने अपने में रखी है। एक तो हमारा ये है कि जो अवेयरनेस, जो स्टिकर्स भी बनाए हैं उन्होंने, वो भी बड़ी इम्पॉर्टेंट है, उससे भी एक मैसेज आएगी लोगों में कि अवेयरनेस ज़रूरी है। तो उसके बाद पहले हम जो कहते हैं कि प्रिवेंशन देन प्रोहिबिशन। तो प्रिवेंशन में यही आएगा कि जो अवेयरनेस पार्ट इनका आता है, तो बाद में जो सफाई का भी ये मोस्ट प्रोबेबली अवेयरनेस कर ही रहे हैं, तो मैं इनको आज के इस इवेंट पर मुबारकबाद देता हूँ।
A two-week refresher online course in social sciences concluded. Organized by the Human Resource Development Center for college and university teachers, the two-week online refresher course saw participation from across India. Speaking on the valedictory function, Dean Academic Affairs, Professor Shabir Ahmed Butt, under whose guidance this course started, said that during coronavirus pandemic, the HRDC conducted many online courses.
We saw to it that we organized number of programs and seminars by roping in faculty from across the globe. There were programs wherein we had participants in number more than 1,000, coming from different parts of the world. One of the important programs that was in need of the hour was on mental health. And the experts across the country, even from Jammu and Kashmir, were a part of this program to see to it that how Kashmir University, the faculty, and the supporting staff can be of some help to the students, to the scholars, and even to other colleagues going through difficult times in COVID-19. HRDC has, regardless of the kind of situation that was there, we saw to it that we stay there and we continue our efforts, continue our programs, and then connect with the people, connect with the faculty and the scholars.
Speaking to the Quest team, coordinator HRDC Dr. Ishaq Gir said that the refresher course was held as per the new guidelines of National Education Policy 2019.
This is a refresher course in social sciences which is being attended by 70 participants from various colleges and universities of J&K and from other parts of India. And the basic idea is that there is interdisciplinary approach as envisaged under National Education Policy. Basic idea is that the multidisciplinarity is fostered and transdisciplinarity is nurtured through these programs, so that the teachers get to know they can upgrade their skills, competencies, enhance their knowledge base about various streams of social sciences, and the ultimate aim is that their students benefit and the knowledge gets transferred to the students. That is the whole aim behind this particular course.
That's all for today's episode. Log on to our website emrcsrinagar.org, where you can check the latest episode of Quest. You can also watch it on our YouTube channel, that is KU Television. Signing off with the thought of the week. All men are intellectuals, one could therefore say, but not all men have in society the function of intellectuals.